Alright, so here we are. We're going to start bending our first line. We're going to see how this goes. I've never used a bending tool before, so we will see how that goes. So we got the first one done here, and I found it easier to actually bend it by hand rather than use the tool. It's soft enough that I really can kind of bend it by hand. And basically, I just taped it as I went along with all the bends. This one was the only one I'm worried about. I kind of crimped that line a little bit right there. I'm going to try to straighten that out maybe a little bit and go from there. Alright, so now we got the second line. This one was the return line. Got this one done. A little easier to bend because it wasn't quite as thick. But once again, got a little bit of a crimp right there. I mean, it's not on both sides, it's just on that side, so I'm hoping that that's going to be okay. Alright, so I figured I would also show, kind of hard to see, but the gas lines, they came down here, and then there's all these little clips that hold the lines in. So what I found to be the easiest was to break one side, and then, since I really wasn't worried about the lines, pry it up and get the lines out, and then you can twist this, because then what they actually will do is they will actually twist off. This one's being a little bugger. Well, that's because my stupid mentality was tightening it. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? So then they just twist off, just like that. And then you just go down the line, and there's another one. And just twist them off. So that was the easiest way I found of getting these off. Okay, well, took the fuel strainer out, and as you can see, it was actually in there, but I mean, it just completely crumbled when I took it out, so I am going to have to replace that. It came out easy enough, but yeah, that's a bummer. Okay, so I originally wanted to flare my end lines on my brake tubing. So I bought this flaring tool kit, but it's not very good. So I tried it a few times. Most of the time what happened was it just kept pushing right down through the holes. No matter how tight I tried to get these, it would just push down, and I got one to actually flare out a little bit. These are just test pieces that I cut off. And I really had to crank down hard to get this to flare out at all. So I think what I'm going to do is just go with compression fittings. And I think that's just going to be the way I need to go, because I don't want to take a chance on ruining these fuel lines that I just bent trying to flare it out when it was really hard to do it just, with having that sit in a vise. So I can't imagine what it would be like trying to do it on the lines themselves, instead of just this little piece. All right, so I was done working for the day on this car and just kind of swept up the shop a little bit. I'm actually waiting for my dad to come over. He's got a headlamp he needs put into his car. So just kind of waiting to see when he gets here. It's absolutely gorgeous out. It's February 2nd. It's Super Bowl Sunday. And it's like almost 70 degrees and sunny. My neighbor's taking down his Christmas lights finally. He had taken most of them down. He's got a whole huge light show. It's really kind of cool. But it's just such a nice day out. Figured I'd just sweep out the garage and everything and go from there. All right, so I didn't like the fact that that line was crimped. So I went ahead and I learned how to use the bending tool. And actually, it did a really good job. Except that I practiced bending the line. And when I did, I didn't have enough. So, pro tip. The supply line, if you buy 25 feet of tubing, there is enough to do it twice. If you just measure out half of it. So the problem I ran into was I practiced and I made some turns and things like that with what I had left over, and then I tried to start again and then ended up short. So just so you know in the future that if you buy 25 feet, you can do it twice with that roll. The return line is a little different because it's actually a longer line, so you can't get two out of that. So just so you know, so this was the original one that was crimped that I just ruined. So I ordered some more and we're gonna try to rebend. All right, well, third time is a charm. This one went much better. I had one little itty bitty crimp, but I'm not gonna worry about it. But definitely using the bender definitely helped. You just gotta take your time and go through it. I got definitely better at it doing it, 3 times. Well, 4 times with the other line. So, yep. So that's where we are. And ordered the clips. I'll get the clips. I rebuilt the fuel injectors, and we'll get those in and start rebuilding the fuel lines in the car. So I think that's it for this episode, and we will see you next time.